As you all know, my name is Rainey with the American School of Hypnosis here on Elite Thought TV, and tonight we're going to be doing a broadcast on how to make big money with hypnosis. How many of you are doing hypnosis right now? Go ahead and, I don't know if most of you are hypnotherapists, if any of you are prospective hypnotherapists. Okay, so we got a few people coming on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through a few ideas that you can use to make some money on hypnosis. And the neat thing, earlier today I sent out an email to a lot of our followers and mentioned that if any of you have some great ideas on how to make money with hypnosis, go ahead and send it in, and if we talk about it tonight, we have a prize for you. So we actually got quite a few responses. So after I'm done speaking about some of the things I have today, we're going to go over a lot of those ideas. We've been speaking quite a few weeks here about different topics, and through the messages I get in through the weeks, it seems like one of the biggest responses or the biggest things people want to hear about is marketing and money making. Go figure. So I thought we'd probably spend a few weeks on it. Tonight I want to talk about ways you can make money, and next week and over the next few weeks I want to break it down and actually show you what you can do. I apologize for the background sound. I just started talking, wouldn't you know, they're mowing the lawn outside the office. You can hear it if you listen real close. Okay, the law of attraction, right? So let's go ahead and get started. How can you make big money with hypnosis? Number one is by being a hypnotherapist. Okay, so let's start right from the beginning. There's a lot of ways of becoming a hypnotherapist. You can take a live course. We have a group course, a one-on-one course, which is a 3-day course, individual, or a home study course. Now, it's funny, when we advertise it, I get a lot of people calling in and saying, gee, I would love to take the course, but I can't afford it to do it right away, okay? I want to pay payments or whatever. Think of it this way. Depending on the location you're at, the average hypnotherapist makes anywhere from what I've seen probably a low of $100 a session to a high of about $300 a session. That would be like in the bigger cities like New York or probably Philly. So if you think of it, let's average it out to a low of, let's say, $150 a session. At $150 a session, think of it, this is a kind of job where just in one day of work, just with a few sessions, you pay off your entire investment. Where else can you find that? A professional job where you can pay off your entire investment in just one day. Okay? So let's go a little further with that, knowing that by the time you're done your training, most people have people lined up coming in for sessions already, because hypnosis is interesting. And when you take your training, you're telling all your friends and relatives, hey, I'm going to be doing hypnosis, and all you hear is, hey, hypnotize me, hypnotize me. They're all curious and want to talk to you about it. So it's something that you are going to have people waiting, so you should be able to pay off your investment right away, even without advertising. But we're going to be speaking to you in upcoming weeks of a lot of ways of advertising and bringing in the business, okay? So now you become a hypnotherapist, whether you do it on your own with a home study course, or 3-day or 6-day, either way, in about a week or two, you're ready to get started. The number one, I guess you could say the bread and butter way of making money as a hypnotherapist or a hypnotist, depending on the state you're in, is by doing individual sessions. Now, like I mentioned before, individual sessions anywhere from $100 to $300 per hour. How much should you charge? Well, I suggest what you do is check what the people around you are charging and charge about $20 more. Why? My opinion is you should be the highest paid hypnotist in the area, because let's face it, when someone really wants to quit smoking, when they're motivated to do something and they've tried everything else, they're going to look and compare, and usually they go after the highest price person because they figure that's the best. So if you want to be the best, act like the best. That's what's going to separate you from the others. Don't lowball your prices, because if you pay little for something, it's usually worth very little. When I first started, I still remember my very first session. I was in training. One of my friends says, hey, I'll volunteer for you to help me quit smoking. So he did it for free. He did it as a favor to me. He quit for about 3 days, and things got a little tough. He got stressed. He went out and bought a carton. Now, did he feel bad that he restarted? Not for himself. He felt bad for me. He felt a little guilty, but there was no commitment for him, really. If he had paid $150, $200 for the session, he would have gone to light that cigarette and he would have said, wow, this is an expensive cigarette. Maybe I'll try a little bit longer. So the more you charge, the more commitment it is, and the better success rate you're going to have. So individual sessions, if you have an office, do live one-on-one individual sessions. If you don't have an office, you still have a few choices until you can get one. You can do group sessions, which we're going to talk about a little more in a few moments, where you can rent like a conference room in a hotel, the American Legion Hall. There's a lot of halls you could rent for that. So doing group sessions or doing online or telephone sessions. Reluca does quite a few telephone sessions through Skype. Okay, the nice thing about that is your office, instead of just being in your city, just expanded to the world. I had someone, actually this happens quite often, but someone called me or emailed me a couple days ago and said, I live in a small area. How do I know whether I can make an income or not? Well, first of all, people need help no matter where you are. So it depends what you're advertising. As long as your niche isn't too small, you should be able to do a good business anywhere. But with the use of the internet, that small area doesn't matter. Years ago when I started a hypnosis office in a small town called Springvale, Maine. Springvale probably had a population of maybe 15,000, but it was connected to a sister to another town called Sanford, which altogether had about maybe 35,000 people. There were 7 other hypnosis practitioners in the area, okay? I started out, don't worry about the competition. Within a month, I had a full-time business. I was doing great. I was probably the only full-timer because I wasn't worried about them. You do a good job, people will come see you. But, like I mentioned to somebody yesterday, you can have the best product in the world, the most beautiful store, at the lowest prices, but if you don't take the paper out of your windows, people aren't going to know you're there. So primarily, before a hypnotherapist, you are a marketer. You need to be able to market your product. If you don't tell anybody what you do, how are they going to know? You're going to just be sitting in a nice office saying, where's the business? You won't see anybody for a week or a month. But if you're not afraid to talk, and you need to be that marketer first, business is everywhere. So get in the habit right now of speaking to everyone you know about hypnosis. Let them know what you do. Of course, you're in the business of helping people, and by letting them know what you do, you're not doing anything bad. You're telling people that you can help them, okay? It's like fishing. You make enough casts, you're going to get a nibble. You're going to get a bite. All right, so what kind of sessions can you do? I think it's important to try and specialize, to have a niche, because people would rather come see a specialist than a generalist, okay? So be good at what you do. What is it? Be a master of what you do rather than a jack of all trades. And by all means, if you're doing a few things that aren't related, have separate web pages if you want, a separate business guide, separate brochure. Don't have one brochure that says I do hypnosis for smoking, weight loss, stress, Tupperware, and plumbing, okay? That's not going to look very professional. So keep your non-hypnosis, a non-session business separate, okay? Be professional. You are a professional just as much as a brain surgeon or a doctor would be. So advertise in professional places. Don't put your business card on a bulletin board in a corner store in a bar room and expect to get business. Would you go see a brain surgeon if you were in trouble that you found his business card on a bulletin board in the corner store saying brain surgery half off? I mean, which half are you going to get off, the right or the left, okay? You want to act professional just like they are. You don't see doctors, MDs, psychiatrists, psychologists advertising, on the bulletin boards and the bars and these kind of places. Okay, so what kind of things? Probably the number one thing that you can use hypnosis for is smoking. I think with most people, and you'd agree, that smoking can be pretty much 60 to 70% of your business. Even though they've been harping on smoking for so long and so many places don't even allow it, there's still a lot of smokers out there. And gee, if you look at the high schools and the young people, there's a lot of new ones starting up. It's amazing how many young people are smoking. So that just ensures your business for the future, okay? So there's a lot of smokers out there. So what can you do with smokers, just as an example, if you wanted to pinpoint them? Well, there's, besides the individual sessions, you can do groups. Now, a quick way to make money is just to put an A-frame sign up in front of a place, let's say the American Legion or some hall near you, small advertisement in the newspaper, and you're bound to get 10, 15 people. But remember, the more you advertise, the bigger the advertisement you use, the more people you're going to have coming. Now, a group session takes less time, if done properly, than an individual session, because in an individual session, these people are scared when they come to your office. You have to do like a half-hour pre-session to calm them down, explain to them what hypnosis is, how it works, before you even get started, to calm them, to make them feel comfortable. But in a group, there's power in numbers, okay? They're the ones in the majority. You're the one that should be scared. No, really, don't be scared. They're not afraid of hypnosis. They're not afraid of you because they're with their friends. So you don't need to do all that pre-explanation. Matter of fact, the sooner you get to the session, the better. So in a group session, if it's self-sponsored, get your advertising, get the location. People come in, they pay at the door, whatever you're going to charge. From what I'm seeing, most people anyways from $49 to $89 a head. Usually they charge less for a group because there's so many more people coming in. Once they pay, they sit down, you come out, introduce yourself very briefly. They're not there to hear your credentials, they're there to quit smoking. Tell them a little bit about hypnosis, what they can expect, and get into it. When you do your session, of course, you go through it. You don't have to do any kind of depth test because it's a group. You're just going to be doing it one way, whether they're deep or not. Do the session and you're done. Now, keep in mind with a group, there's several ways you can do it. If you're doing it near your office, okay, and you do have an office for individual sessions, a group is a great way to seed your individual sessions, okay? If done right, you can do a group, and I've seen as many as 15 to 20% of those people coming to see you afterwards for an individual session. For those of you that have taken my course, you know we speak about analytical and non-analytical sessions. Most people can relax, but that's not the only way to hypnotize people. Relaxation is not a prerequisite to hypnosis. Some people, you got to keep their mind busy. Unfortunately, when you do a group session, you're not going to get as high a success ratio as an individual session because you can only do it one way. And we usually do it towards the non-analytical because that's the majority of society. So what about the rest? Are they just going to walk out and feel like Jesus doesn't work? If you let your people know in the beginning of the session that if you're able to relax, this session will work great for you. If you're not able to, don't let them feel like they failed. If you're not able to relax for any reason and this doesn't work tonight, maybe you're uncomfortable in the chair, you're thinking too critical or whatever, come see me in my office afterwards or make an appointment for later on down the road, next week let's say, for a one-on-one session where I could tailor it to you and I'll only charge you the difference in price. Give you an example with round numbers. If you normally charge $150 in your private session and you charge $50 for a group, if it didn't work for them in the group, only charge them $100 when they come see you privately. So that's something I found that can work very well. Again, if you're doing a group that's somewhere near home where people can come see you. We have a couple practitioners in upstate New York that specialize in past life regression, and she was telling me doing group past life regression that way, she's getting about 20% of the people coming to see her for individual sessions after. So that can be a big money maker. Groups help to seed it. Of course, least of all, not to mention all the money you can make from the group. Okay, groups can be very lucrative. Now, another way you can do group smoking is, again, with self-sponsoring. Some people like to go on the road and only do group sessions. We have a person right here in Portland, Maine, not too far, that rents a room at the hotel right across the street from the main mall. It used to be the Sheridan, but it just changed to some other name, so I can't tell you what it is offhand. But once a year, sometimes twice, but usually once a year, he comes around on a circuit and does a group stop smoking session over there. And he might do Portland, Maine on, let's say, Saturday, and on Sunday, maybe Portsmouth, New Hampshire. The next week, he's in Boston and maybe Hartford, Connecticut. So every day on the weekends, he usually just does Saturday and Sunday. He does a different location. Now, he advertises quite a bit, okay? He'll go to the Portland Press Arrow when he's here and get a full page ad or at least a half page ad, and he'll run it for about 3-4 days before the event. But he usually always has at least 200 people in attendance. So think of that, 200 people in attendance at $50 a head. Do the math. Even with a full page ad, he's still made out quite well. Again, the more you advertise, the more you're going to get. Now, this guy does what I call a hit and run, okay? He doesn't live anywhere near here, so he's not looking for one-on-one people coming to see him afterwards. So he just does the group and moves on to the next city. But what he does do to seed himself for the next time he comes, he gives a 100% guarantee. And the guarantee is, if for any reason you don't quit smoking, come see me next time around and you can attend for free. Bring a friend, okay? So they come around next time. It helps to fill up his audience. Of course, the bigger the numbers, the more expectancy you build. Plus, they bring paying friends, so it works out pretty well. But every time he's come here, he's always had a full house. Now, he's built a name of being a group guy, and he keeps on going around, but you might have people like that in your area as well. Now, years ago, I heard of one guy, I believe it was in Hartford, Connecticut. It was a ridiculous amount. He rented a gymnasium, rented a full-page ad for quite a while before the event, and he had, close to 800 or 900 people in attendance. Now, that's kind of out of the norm, but hey, you never know. The more you advertise, the more you're going to get. Now, again, this is a hit and miss. I'd like to say you're going to get tons of people every time, but there's been times where I've done groups where it didn't work out as well either. I rented the Elks Club for a full week in Portland, and I bought a quarter page ad in the Portland Press Arrow for the whole week, and I got very few people show up, and I was shocked. When I looked in the paper, they put me below the obituaries. Okay, so I don't know what kind of signal that sent out. But if you're going to do advertising like that, don't do like me. Check your paper the first day to make sure it's in a good location. Your ad is. If it's not in a good location, call the newspaper. Say, hey, I want that out of the obituaries. I want it where people are going to look at it a little bit more. Okay, so that's what you do for self-sponsored groups. Now, another thing. Now, when I'm saying smoking, okay, this can be done with anything. Smoking, weight loss, stress, whatever topic you want to do. Smoking just seems to be the most commonly the common topic for group sessions. Corporate. I believe 2 weeks ago I spoke to you about how to attract corporate business by putting together a business pack, which is basically an envelope with your business card, a brochure, a cover letter. Let's see, what else do we have in there? Testimonials if you have them. And even a couple gift certificates, maybe for $100, good towards the fourth session of a 4-week smoking withdrawal program, something like that. And with these packets, of course, on the outside you have a big slash going across, kind of if this were the envelope, you'd have it going across this way here, like a ribbon saying $100 gift certificate included. And you go door to door to businesses and hand these out. Start with the business right across the street or right across the hall from your business and introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Rainey with the American School of Hypnosis. I just opened an office, wanted to give you this free gift and introduce myself. Have a great day, walk out. 9 out of 10 times they'll stop you before they hit the door. You hit the door because hypnosis is an interesting topic. Now, not only will this give you individual sessions, but every once in a while, you'll have someone, maybe a realtor or insurance agency or whatever, call you and say, hey, can you come over to my office and hypnotize 15 people, 20 people to quit smoking? This can be a very nice day for you, okay? Here's some options, okay? Now, the first thing I do when someone asks me, can you come over my office to hypnotize 15 people? I ask, usually it's the owner calling, I'll say, who's paying for the session? You or the employees? Important to do. And if he says the employee is paying for it, let him know, if he says he's paying for it, let him know that his success rate will probably be a lot lower unless he lets the employees pay for it. Think of it. If he's paying for it himself, that means the employees aren't paying for it. They're getting it for free. So let's think about a business where you have to be working hard every day, and the boss says, hey, by the way, all you smokers, You can come over and relax for free with this hypnotist, get out of work, and I'm paying for it. How many of them are going to quit? When they get done, they're going to walk out, light up a cigarette, and say, hey, maybe we can do this again next month, and they'll call them back, okay? There's no incentive. When you pay for nothing for a session, it's worth nothing. So tell the boss, if you have the employees pay for it, it's going to be a lot more successful. Now, if you were planning on paying for it yourself, if you feel like you want to give it to them as a gift, instead of you paying for it, why don't you have them pay for it, and once they've quit for a month or two, you can give them the money you were going to pay as a bonus. There's an added incentive now, okay? If they quit, first of all, they have some incentive because they paid for it. If they quit for a while, they're going to have a nice bonus from the boss. That's going to be a lot higher success rate. Now look at it from the boss's point of view. Gee, I don't have to pay for this myself? Wow, I like this guy, okay? So, or this woman, okay? So you're going to be in as a hypnotherapist with the boss. So that's one way you can do it, okay? Now that would be if you're going to come in and let's say do a group session for all of them, let's say a 1-hour session, and you're done. Now you realize that a group 1-hour session is great, but with analytical and non-analytical clients, your success rate's not going to be that high. So here's another option you can offer the boss, okay? I usually charge $150, you could tell them, for an individual session. The advantage of an individual session is that I can test your clients using suggestibility tests to find out whether they're analytical or non-analytical, and I tailor the session to them. This way I get a very high success rate and they all quit. In a group, we can only do it one way. So if you have people that are analytical way on one end or other ends of the spectrum, they might not all be affected. Matter of fact, I believe the success rate for a group session is actually pretty low, below 50%. I'm not going to go how much below, because it's not tailored. So what you tell the boss is, here's what I can do for you. I'm charging you, let's say, $50 a head for the group. I normally charge $150 for an individual session. I can charge you $85. This is just as an example. $85 per person, okay, and I'll give them each an individual session. Now, before you jump off your seats and say, wow, that's a discount, look at it this way. Normally you take an hour per client, you're only going to be taking about a half hour this way. What you're going to do is you come in the morning and do an orientation with everyone. So you're still going to do your 1-hour orientation without doing a session. You're going to come in, introduce yourself, give them your, what you're here for, how hypnosis works. Do some suggestibility tests with them, the finger test, the arm test, whatever you do to find out whether they're analytical or not. And once you've decided whether they're analytical or not, have them remember. Of course, we do the finger test, the rubber band test. Those of you that your fingers touch, you're non-analytical. Everyone remember that. When you come see me later on in the day, tell me that your fingers touch. Those of you with your fingers apart, you're the analytical ones. Remember that. Tell me when you come in. So after the orientation, usually the boss can set you up in an office someplace out of the way, and every half hour throughout the day, a client comes in. And of course the secretary keeps a list, and she's the one that kind of calls them and lets them know that they can come see you so they're not missing work and having to wait in the waiting room, okay? So every half hour somebody comes in, he walks in, I look at him, did your fingers touch? Yes, they did. Boom, I take my stack with the analytical session, do the session. Next one comes in, no they didn't. Oh, you're analytical. So I take the analytical session and do that. Now I'm tailoring it to them so the success rate is a lot higher. You're giving them a better service, and you're making a lot more money. Isn't that great? Okay, now if you want to supercharge this and make it even a lot better, most of you realize that if you just do one session, okay, according to statistics, within 3 to 5 days, people dream up the suggestion. Within 3 to 5 days, if only given suggestion once, most people, I believe it's about 83% of the public, go back to their previous way of thinking. Because they've had a habit, they developed a habit of being a non-smoker over 20, 30 years. You need to develop a habit of being a non-smoker, okay? How do you develop a habit? Through repetition, a minimum of 21 days. What we do, what we teach is you give people a CD or an MP3 to listen to between their weekly sessions when they come to see you. With a group, give them an MP3 to listen to, and you tell them right out, This is a 10-minute MP3, a follow-up MP3. It gives them the suggestion of imagining themselves as a non-smoker. If you listen to it every single day for a minimum of, let's say 30, 45 days, because 21 is the minimum, okay? If you listen to it every day for 30 days, you will be a non-smoker. If you don't, you won't. Why do I say it that adamant? It's science, okay? Basic science says that it takes a minimum of 21 days to reroute your neural connections. Basically, the suggestions help you to reroute the neural connections, but it has to be repeated for 21 days for those neural connections to reroute themselves and create a new habit. If they stop sometime before then, even though they feel like a non-smoker, chances are they're going to go right back to where they were. That's what they call falling off the wagon. It's similar to taking penicillin, okay? If you had pneumonia and they gave you penicillin and they give you, you have to take it for 10 days. If you stop halfway through, which you're going to feel good after the first day, but if you stop halfway through because you feel good, it didn't kick it out completely, the pneumonia, and you're going to get sick again. So, telling this to the employer, because you don't have to get this detail, I'm getting detail so you folks understand, but telling this to the employer is going to help them see that you care about being more successful. You're giving a quality product, and he's going to tell his friends about it, other business people. So you can do a group session in the morning, or you can do a group session in the morning with individual ones all day long afterwards, and you can also give a CD, which is going to make it stronger. So let's just go with, let's say, 10 people at $50 a head. If you did one in the morning, that's $500. $500, right? If you did 10 people at $85, now it's $850 for the same day. So that makes a nice day. Of course, what if you have 20 or 30 people? 10's kind of a small group, just so you know. Last time I did a group like this, it was funny. I was set aside in a room like that. Secretary sending people in all day, and there was such commotion. One of the owner's friends, another insurance agency, came in and said, "Hey, what's going on in that room?" And the boss said, "Oh, we have a hypnotist helping my people to quit smoking." And he goes, "Hey, can I speak to him after about my group?" So again, you're out in the public, so people are seeing this. Again, more business. It's more networking for you. Okay, so smoking, we spoke about corporate. Another thing, besides, of course, these people calling you, you can contact businesses as well to book these kind of things. Matter of fact, a lot of hospitals are into stop smoking right now. If you let them know you have a program, they may sponsor you, or they may just allow you to use their place, okay? The nice thing about that is you wouldn't have to pay for it. If they allow you to put signs up in the hospital, hey, there's a lot of people that smoke there, okay? Other people you can approach for this kind of thing, schools, health spas, churches, clubs, there's a lot of, just think of the places that have large groups of people. Especially large groups of people that smoke. If you can think of those, contact them, okay? Don't contact your local bars, because a lot of them like to have smokers in there. It's like going to a bar and saying, "Hey, I'd like to speak to you about, stop drinking." They'll probably throw you out and stone you. Let's see. Other things you can do like this, okay, for instead of just smoking, like I said, you can do it with weight loss, you can do it with stress reduction. A lot of corporate places like stress reduction and productivity. Another big hitter with groups for me has been past life regression and contacting spirits. If you're into the metaphysics, there's big money in that. A good way to get started with those kind of things, and even with the smoking if you like, if you don't want to go out to businesses, or if they're not calling you in the meantime, especially if you're just starting a business, get a hold of whatever places hold adult education or continuing education classes. Now, every area is different. You could tell me, what's in your area, because different states have different things for those that are watching if you want to type it in. Here in Maine, most of the adult ed courses are done by the high schools. Some of the colleges have them as well. Now, these are the places that you can sign up for classes. You get a brochure, let's say once a month from them, telling them their class is coming up for computer science, how to do Microsoft Word, basket weaving, pretty much anything you can think of. There's yoga classes. There might be people doing Tai Chi. We've done quite a few with the local, with Biddeford High and with Sanford High, where I taught past life regression, contacting spirits, quit smoking. Raluca taught Spanish lessons if people want to learn Spanish. So there are a lot of different things we could do, but out of all of them that I did, the number one pull was the past life regression. I advertised a past life regression class with them, and the very first night we had 45 people in attendance. Now keep in mind, you're not going to make a lot of money doing this. This is an advertising ploy to get you going. I offered them 2 nights, so actually one, let's say this Thursday, a week apart, and another one next Thursday. I offered them 2 nights of group past life regression sessions. Okay, so they had the people come up. I think the people are only paying, I don't know, maybe $15 to $20 a head. It's really not that much. Okay, but when they come in, we had like 45 people. They really loved it, and we did it the second week, and most of them came back and brought their friends because it's something that really grows that way. Of course, now it's done. What are they going to do now? Well, have your own thing set up on your own, in either in your office or in a conference room or something like that. And a lot of those people will come see you, but you charge your rates of whatever it is, $50 a night or whatever it is. Okay, so the nice thing about doing it with the adult ed is when you go to see them and tell them I want to do past life regression, they're going to advertise. They're going to put you in their brochure of all the upcoming events. And those advertisements go out to just about every single person in the city. Now that's good advertising. That's a lot more than what you'll get even with the newspaper, probably, because newspapers don't really go to everyone. We have one of our graduates here, Anita, who actually I met her because she was the director of the adult ed in Biddeford High. She since then left and became a graduate with us, and now she specializes in past life regression. What she does is, because she knows a lot of these people, she taught past life regression a few nights to, I believe it was like 12 different adult educations between Southern Maine and New Hampshire. So these places here, and she does it maybe once every couple of years, she'll go back to them. Well, she is like the person around for past life regression because everyone's seen her name in these brochures. Okay, so if you have an office, these people are going to start coming to see you for groups and for individual sessions. Now, how do they get you? How do you get them to come for individual sessions? Here's how I do it. With the adult ed, I usually give them 2 to 3 hours. Now you think, 3 hours, that's a long time. Here's what I do in that 3 hours, okay? I'm going to give you the whole rundown. This works for past life regression and contacting spirits. And for those of you that have my manual, the scripts are right in there, okay? And for those of you that don't have my manual, go to our website, choosehypnosis.com, scroll about halfway down, and you'll see a thing that says click here to download our free 446-page manual, and you'll have the scripts there. Isn't that nice? Okay. It's actually the curriculum we use in school. We give it away free as our business card. So that is the exact session I've used for past life regression and for contacting spirits. It has everything from A to Z, how to do the group. If you go in the miscellaneous section, it'll show you the whole group format that we use. So let's say you have 3 hours. Here's what I do. We walk into the place, we introduce ourselves to everybody, we go around the room, just like when I teach a class. We like to go around the room, find out who everybody is, tell me a name, tell me what you do and what kind of madness made you want to come to this class, okay? You'll be amazed how many people, when they come to class, are already psychics or even in this field, okay? But they just really enjoy to try it with different venues. So we go around the room, then explain a little bit about hypnosis, a little bit about the group sessions, and then start your session. Now, let them know that when they open their eyes at the end of the session, you're going to give them about 5-10 minutes to be able to write down on a piece of paper what they experienced, because they're still going to be a little, they'll remember a lot of it, but as they come out of it, they're going to forget most of what happened. So you give them a piece of paper and some quiet to be able to write things down. So that pretty much takes up the first hour. Now we go around the room and have every single person explain to you or tell you what they experienced. Now that is the fun part. That's what everyone comes for. They go around the room, you're going to hear such unbelievable or just really amazing stories that everyone's enthralled. Even the people that weren't able to experience the past life regression because they were too nervous or too scared or just didn't see anything, they're going to be so amazed that next week they're going to want to come back too. And usually they bring back friends. So this is how it builds. Even when you do it in your own office, it's just going to keep on growing and growing. We eventually had to go to, like I said, a hotel conference room because it outgrew the office. So you have the first hour of the session. The second hour, everyone's going around the room telling exactly what they experienced. Now, the last hour, here's what you do. When you went around the room, the second hour, and everybody explained what they experienced, keep your eye open for the most interesting one. Okay, the one that experienced the most, because obviously they must have been the most non-analytical, they went the deepest, and everyone's really hanging on to every word they said. Okay, now when you pick that person, you say, would you come up here please and have a chair next to you? Say, now you're going to see what it's like to have an individual session. I just did a group session. You all experienced a lot, but in an individual session, it's going to be so much more detail. And do an individual session with this person out front of everybody. Now the key is when you do the individual session, don't make it real detail. Okay, get into, you just have to maybe do a little deepener. You don't have to do a whole lot of relaxing because they just came out of hypnosis and they're still there. So do a really quick deepener and start with the session. Have them give their answers out loud. They're going to be so deep and it's going to be so interesting. People are all going to be saying, oh, I wish I could have an individual session. Did you hear that? I wish I could have an individual session. Oh, wow, Eureka, you can. My office is not too far. We only charge $150 a session. And if you sign up tonight before we leave, we'll give you a $30 discount. Do you think you're going to get people? That's how you seed your office. Okay? And you get to do it again next week as well. Now, if you're doing these in different towns, I'd much rather do 5 different adult eds, 1 or 2 nights each time, than 1 adult ed for 10 nights. If you're doing it 10 nights or a long time, why would they want to come see you when they're getting it for $10 or $20 a night? Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's see. So we spoke about adult eds. We have a lot more to talk about, but before we do, I want to go through some of these ideas that some people gave me that they called in with tonight, and I don't want to just talk about this here. And like I said, we're going to be talking about different kind of marketing ideas each week. And just so you all know, I heard some of you speaking. This is being recorded, so you'll be able to find this on actually here on Ustream as well as on YouTube. Another thing, before I go too far, we're going to be doing not only Tuesday night trainings. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos during the week coming up on different kind of hypnotic type topics. We're not going to be sending out emails all the time because I know a lot of people get and say, hey, you're sending out too many emails. But so if you're interested in attending some of the other ones, be sure you subscribe on my YouTube site and especially here on the Ustream site, because just as soon as we go on, usually or a few minutes before we go on, they send an email out automatically to everyone who signed up there, letting them know, hey, Randy's coming on, so you can participate in those as well. Okay, so I asked earlier in the letter if anybody had any marketing ideas to send them in, and I got some pretty good ones. Actually, I got quite a few good ones. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to go through all of them tonight, but everyone that did send them in, I got 6 people, and I'm going to mention their names. You're all going to get the prize I offered you. Even though I can't go over them all tonight, we will in the next few weeks. So, let's see. Patty Sapp from Ellicott City, Maryland, wrote in. Here's some money-making tips that work for me. I send cover letters, coupons, business cards, etc. to local physicians. I offer a discounted session to one of their staff. When their staff member comes in and gets awesome results, I like the positive attitude, for whatever issue he or she has chosen, they send me referrals. Referrals is the best way to get business. My phone rings, my calendar gets full. Word of mouth type of marketing has grown my business. It's not what you say about what you do, it's what others say. Very true. My passion, my enthusiasm is obvious when they enter my office, and the referrals keep coming. Now, Patty, I haven't even met you, but just from reading this letter, I believe you. Your enthusiasm and your confidence is awesome. If someone could write a letter like this, imagine what they're like in person, okay? You're building expectancy from when somebody comes into your office. And if you're like this, you're going to get business and you're going to get referrals. So thank you, Patty. I do have your emails, and tomorrow morning I'll be sending you I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to send you a copy of my Hypnosis Moneymakers Manual, which has about, I believe, 6 or 7 different kinds of businesses you can make an income with hypnosis. So if the things you're not doing, you might want to start doing some of them. It'll give you additional ideas. Here we have another letter from Charlie Michelson in Kuwait. Ooh, that's quite a ways over. Offer hypnosis at a church for a fundraiser. Offer to do group sessions for various subjects at a discount of maybe $75 a person. He writes, if you can get 100 people involved, that's $7,500. Ooh. Offer to donate $5,000 to the church fundraiser, such as a youth camp. You make $2,500 for a week's work and agree ahead of time to get 2 referrals for other churches. This is a great idea, actually. This way, the campaign continues. Do this for 40 weeks out of the year at 40 churches, and you'd walk away with $100,000. Not bad for a year's work and giving something back to serve God as well. Charlie, if you would, I'd like you to, if you're listening, I'd like you to write me a letter and let me know how you've done with this personally. I'd really like to hear some of your stories. That would be great. We could talk about them maybe in a future class. So thank you, Charlie. Excuse me. Let's see. Now we have Dr. Robin Tyre. Okay, and she says, in my practice, I use many methods of generating new patient flow. She guest speaks at local organizations such as Rotary Clubs, American Businesswomen's Association, that's a great one, Lions, etc. I also let my patients know that for every referral, I like this, for every referral they send me, they get 1 hypnosis session for free. Ooh, okay. Now, realizing that most people are coming for, anywhere from 4 to 6 sessions, so if you give them 1 session for free, you just picked up 6 extra, so that's great. And of course, if they're paying $150 a session, that's quite an incentive for them. She just said what I just said. Since new patients are typically from 3 to 6 sessions, giving a free session away does not hurt at all. I also give them, if a session is not needed or wanted at that time, a free hypnosis CD. I also hold bi-monthly group sessions on the benefit of hypnosis and ask my patients to always bring a friend. And many times the friend becomes the patient. So this is a really good idea. I like that, Robin. I'm going to copy some of this and you might see it in a future book. Okay. Let's see. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, we still got time. Ed Bacon from Woodbridge, Virginia. Ed says, many associations and organizations put on a health day or a health and fitness day once a year, or even the health fairs, you see. These are great opportunities to drum up business. You sign up to do the event for free. Just set up a table with your brochure, business card, etc., and just talk to people as they come by your table. Every person who walks to you is a possible client. So make sure you give them a minimum of your business card. Even if the event has 100 people in attendance, that's 100 prospective clients. He says, I've done several of these events for an alternative healing business I have, and a few have had 200 to 300 people attend. And you'll find a lot of outside metaphysical centers or holistic centers or things like that where you can sign up. You might even have to pay for a table, but it's a great draw for clients. It's really good. He also says if your area has free mailers, the cost to place an ad in one is usually minimal. And 1,000 people receive them in their mailbox. You've probably seen some of those. I know over here we have like Super Coops too, which is an envelope that has a whole mess of different mailers in there. Call the Super Coop company, put one in, maybe a coupon for a $100 gift certificate to quit smoking. So that's a great way. Sign up for free social networking sites such as LinkedIn. Have door hangers printed up with a coupon for maybe $20 off the first session. Go door to door through the neighborhood and hang on onto doors. You'll probably get a couple people to help to distribute 500 or so. easily on a Saturday. So that could be another way you can do it as well. And let's see, last but not least, Michael Birch from Mississippi. I'm going to tell you a few of Michael's, but he actually has 44 items he sent me. This guy has got a lot going on here. He's got 44, so I'm going to start with a few of his. Buy radio ads and negotiate the rates. They're cheap if you're a good negotiator. Of course, the more ads you do, a lot of times I found you could even negotiate with the radio station and do work for them. Maybe do a live session online, on the radio, or some kind of service, and you can barter with them too. Buy classifieds and run them week after week, classified ads. Newspaper is the bread and butter in this company, okay, in this business. If you're not doing newspaper ads, you're losing a lot of business. I always notice the most successful people in this business have newspaper ads going constantly. The ones that don't are the ones that are saying, oh, I don't have enough business, because they're not putting money back into advertising. My motto throughout the years has always been put at least 30 to 40% of your income or 30 to 40% of your profit into advertising. You need to advertise and invest in your future. Create a niche. We've spoken about that before. Don't be a master of all trades, jack of all trades, master of none. Get a folding sandwich sign for the road by your office. Put it up each day. That's a good idea. I love the sandwich signs, but don't do like I did. When I first started in business, I had one that was, it had some of the slide-on letters, but it was like a whiteboard. And as you can see, I like whiteboards, okay? I have them all over the house. And I had a whiteboard where I write in the special. Well, the high school kids, when they come home from school, like to strategically erase certain letters so the sign has something vulgar on it. Be careful of that. If you have a sign like that, go out and check it periodically to make sure nobody's messing with you, okay? Actually, I even had somebody steal one of those too, so you might want to tie it to a pole or weight it down or something. They sell some new ones online now. They're a plastic sandwich sign, and it's like light plastic, but there's a little hole, a little cap that you could take off, and you could fill the whole thing. It's like a hollow plastic. You could fill it with sand or water, and once they're filled, they're miserable to move, okay? If you fill it with sand, you'll need a dolly to get around. If you fill it with water, you can unplug it and drain it, which is a lot smarter. Let's see, we're running to the end of our time, so I'm going to put these on hold for now, Michael, but thank you for sending them. We're going to talk about these at a future time. And just to let you know, we're going to continue doing marketing for a while, because, hey, who doesn't want to make more money? And I think everyone can use it. So I wanted to extend this offer for another week. If any of you have good ideas for hypnosis marketing, making more money, helping everybody to increase their income, I don't care if they're with my organization or not. This is free because we're trying to help everyone in the industry move up. If you have any ideas that you think would be good, please go ahead and email them to us at admin@choosehypnosis.com. And if we use them, we say them online, we'll send you a gift. It probably won't be the same one. We're going to try to surprise you with something different each time. So go ahead and send what you have. If we have enough of them, we'll do a whole session just on the ideas. With that, like I said, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube site or this Ustream site, okay, go ahead and subscribe to them. This way you'll be notified automatically when things come up. Also, we do a lot of things, that we don't advertise on the week. We just jump on and do it, so you'll know about those. And we do a lot of contests on YouTube and different sites where we give away free stuff or discounts, things like that, and you'll be notified of those too. So be sure to sign up. I'd like to thank you all for showing up. We have quite a turnout here, so thank everybody for coming, and y'all have a great night.